This is a unique moment in Michigan's history, and I wasn't sure we'd get to this place during my tenure. And it is with great deliberation and debate, contemplation and demonstration that we arrive at this vote today. And it was not easy, nor should it have been. This is monumental change, with levels and complexities that are far-reaching, sometimes unpredictable and difficult to comprehend. And no one really knows how the game is played, the art of the trade, how the sausage gets made. No one really knows how the parties got a yes, the pieces that are sacrificed in every game of chess. Yet what I know for sure is that we did not take this moment lightly. And I commend our Speaker, the leadership of this chamber and the Senate, our governor, and my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to bring this bill forward to offer Michigan drivers auto insurance relief. For too long, our citizens, particularly Detroiters, have been criminalized and victimized by the mandated burden of Michigan's highest in the nation's auto insurance rates. Some would argue, scream, and shout, "Let's wait. This isn't perfect. This isn't right." They'll rationalize and fantasize and hypothesize and demonize this legislation, saying it doesn't go far enough, it's not perfect. But if you're like me, a single driver who drives a 2009 Saturn Aura, whose payment is more than $5,000 a year, over $400 a month, you're a little more invested in the outcome. When you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. And you don't win unless you play in the game, and you get love for it, and you get hate for it, and you get nothing if we wait for it. And Detroiters have waited too long for rate relief and respect. And remember, this conversation started with the fact that Detroiters specifically were suffering harder, not only than the people in Michigan, but the people in this nation. And somehow, with everything that we're doing right now, it's not that unfamiliar than what the other 49 states in this nation are doing. Let's not forget that there are still people, thousands of folks in this state, who just cannot participate because they can't afford auto insurance, point blank in the period. See, people don't want to lie about where they live so that they can have auto coverage. They actually want to be legit and to participate. They want coverage. They respect the system, but they just can't afford it. They don't want to go to jail, go broke over medical care, or have their car impounded, or be overwhelmed and further discouraged by this oppressive mandate. Michigan drivers are hurting. They are angry, and quite frankly, we're fed up. And they're looking to us to provide a solution. And we can't afford to allow perfect to be the enemy of good. The bill we have before us presents a path forward for auto no-fault reform. I believe the decision to provide drivers with a choice of coverage options finally allows all drivers to participate in the marketplace, where in prior years they have been denied any such options due to our egregiously high rates. And the 8-year guarantee rate savings, an increase from 5 that I offered as an amendment and our leadership further negotiated, is one of several positive steps forward in this bill. And if that doesn't convince you, you don't like the options, guess what? And I don't want it to be missed. We still have the option. People still have the option to buy the coverage that we currently have. You don't have to pick something else. You can pick and you can choose to continue to have what we have today. I do, however, have lingering concerns about the ability of insurers to impose discriminatory rate-setting practices, and for the implications this may have for those currently receiving care under the MCCA. Furthermore, I believe much more needs to be done to ensure consumers are educated about not only their insurance choices, but also the consequences of those choices. As citizens across our state have watched this legislature struggle to bring real reform to Michigan's auto no-fault system, I am relieved that we are finally voting on legislation that will do just that. As legislators, it's not just our job to pass bills, but to safeguard the interests of our citizens and the rights of consumers in our state. We have a duty to ensure the legislation we enact improves the lives of our citizens. And as we move forward with this vote and work to implement these changes, I urge my colleagues to remain vigilant and be willing to revisit issues as they arise, so that we may ensure we don't just live up to the letter of this legislation, but to its spirit. And so, Mr. Speaker, for all the drivers who not only live from paycheck to paycheck, but from paycheck to Monday, and those who just simply don't have a paycheck and they're trying to get one and they need some auto insurance so they can get to a job, I say I support this bill, and I ask my colleagues to support it as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.